Hello everybody, the Nameless Narcissist here once again. A simple man diagnosed with NPD, giving the facts on narcissistic personality disorder and things going on in my head. If you'd like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind I am no clinician. I can only speak to my own experiences and the research that I read. It's funny, I had a dream where I was doing my intro and I was like, whoa, I'm taking so long to make my intro. It's funny. So anyways, I have been talking a little bit recently about some of the more unsavory things I did when I was unaware. I feel like it's things that I have been having a hard time accepting myself. And I think the fact that I've neglected these things are why some people doubt that I am a narcissist, let alone as severe as sometimes I claim. And it's weird. A lot of these things I know that I did. A lot of these things I know my motivations for. But it's like in the back of my head. I'm like convincing myself that those weren't my motivations. I'm trying to tell myself over and over, I'll do things to contradict my motivations, to show myself, no, you didn't do it for that reason. You didn't do it for that reason. But I know that I did. And I'm going to give an example, or like a few, I guess. Because it got me thinking when I was watching an interview with Frankie Ellmans. And he was talking about how he had this client with malignant narcissism who would mutilate themselves as a way to show the clinician that, like, you can't help me. And they got a sadistic pleasure out of doing that. And it sent me back, even to as recently as a year and a half ago. I had a severe mutilation streak when I was younger. And I always told myself, I tried to tell myself that it was a way of having control, of saying, if anybody's going to hurt me, it's only going to be me. And for emotional regulation. And yes, those were, what's the word? Those were motivating factors, but it wasn't the factor. The first time, not the first time, but one of the earliest ones was when I was 15. And I got into an argument with my mom, and she was making me leave my dad's house, and I told her I was taking my computer, because I still think I was justifying wanting my computer. I was the one that fucking paid for that shit. And she laughed at me, and so I took a knife off the kitchen counter, mutilated myself, asked her if she wanted those to get deeper, and then pushed her to the ground, wherein my dad intervened and dragged me out of the house. And I wish I could say that was an isolated incident of using self-harm in order to hurt somebody. But that was what every instance of self-harm in my life has been motivated by. To punish other people for hurting me. I wanted them to feel guilt. I wanted them to feel ashamed. I wanted to feel like they were bad people because they made me hurt myself. Even as far as my very serious suicide attempt. It wasn't an escape from pain. And I'm sure to some degree it was. And I'm sure to some degree it was for self-hate. Right? But my moments hanging there, my last thoughts were, I can't wait for them to find the body. I can't wait for them to know what they did. I can't wait to show this fucking world that has let me down, that has betrayed me, to suffer for doing this to me. I wanted to make as many people as I could suffer before I died. It was funny. I thought that was kind of a normal line of thought when I came to suicide for a while. So I was talking to one of my buddies a while ago, and he said that he was like there's nothing wrong with being suicidal. Well, unless like you're reveling in and thinking about people going to your funeral and like being happy about it or some shit like that. And I was like, oh shit. Well, can't say that now. And I wish I could say that this was limited to when I was in high school, but the last time I did this happened about a year and a half ago. And I've grown a lot since then. But shit, that was after 2.5 years of therapy. I felt betrayed by somebody, and so I carved the word defective into my leg. And I tried to tell myself, no, I don't want anybody to know. I tried to tell myself that. I didn't want the person who hurt me to know. I was trying to tell myself, no, that's not your motivation. And then I intentionally went out of my way to tell people who I knew were in contact with that person in hopes that they would do that. In hopes that they would tell them so that they knew what I had done. So that they would know that they hurt me so bad I hurt myself and make them suffer for it. My ultimate vengeance. It's weird. Ruth said something kind of, what's the word? Impactful for me, that you have to have empathy to be sadistic. And also I want to point out that this is not typical narcissistic behavior. Sadism isn't associated with NPD to the degree that this is normal behavior. I'm sure a lot of narcissists will hear this and be like, oh, what the fuck? Maybe they'll get the logic, but I doubt that they'll go to the extremes. And the reason I'm admitting all this stuff now is because, like, I didn't realize how bad I used to be until recently. Because I've been asking some of my friends about how I am and how I was, and almost universally they all said I was very aggressive, very domineering, very paranoid, and very sadistic, if I could justify to myself that the sadism was just. I think verbatim what my one friend said that I made that video saying, like, oh, how to handle a narcissist, was me saying that they said, how'd they phrase it? They said that, like, I can be very sadistic, but I won't engage with it unless I can justify to myself that it was just, or that it's they deserve it, or whatever. And even now I'm saying all this, and I don't feel guilty about having done these things. I feel ashamed that I was probably seen as pathetic for mutilating myself, and that people saw me in those states. I feel pathetic for that, but I don't feel guilt. Would I take it back if I could? Probably. I can't see why I wouldn't, because I know that's not good now. And I'm not like that anymore, to the same degree at least. I still do wrestle with those feelings of vengeance and to some degree sadism, but I don't want to be like that. I have started to feel like more genuine emotions, more tenderness. I think. I still can't really fucking tell what those things are. And even saying these things now, there's a perverse pleasure, not in like a sadistic way, but in like people finally seeing why I call myself a monster. People actually seeing some of the things I'm capable of. And I think that wanting people to fear me is a factor in that too. For them to know what I am capable of. For them to know that I'm not a good person. A lot of people on my channel like recommend, and Crystal does too. Crystal recommends this too. Crystal Clear Mental Health. She's really cool. Check out her pages if you want to learn about BPD. But like spirituality has been a big part of her thing, and I told her that, like, well, I want to grapple with my own shit before I grapple with God and my spiritual journey, because I've always been open to it. But that's why I want to grapple my own shit beforehand, is because of just the way that Christianity, I can't engage with it because it makes me feel like I was born without a soul. And maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was. I also feel I'm trying to grapple with the thought of like why I don't feel bad about it. Because I should. But I just don't. I don't feel remorse. I don't feel guilt. And even over the actions itself, I don't think I even feel shame. Again, there's almost a little bit of grandiose pride in it. I feel ashamed after admitting that. I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed about the emotions that I am feeling about it. And I hope what people take away from this isn't like, because this is not all narcissists. This is not a normal thing for narcissists to do. And I hope that's not the takeaway. I hope the takeaway is that even somebody who's willing to do that wants to put in and can change and can put in the work to change, even if some of the emotions still aren't quite right. Because I do want to prove that improvement's possible for people like me. And if I am one of the worst cases, then that says a lot for all the other people out there. I'm just looking back thinking how many people I've like entered sexual relationships with just to like, especially the ones that had rejected me before, just to prove myself that I could. Just to prove myself that just to show them that I'm still better than them. It's weird looking at but on the other hand, I'm kind of glad that like you guys get to see me as I really am. People sometimes question if I'm really a narcissist because I think I haven't done enough bad stuff, and that shows me two things. One, they do not know enough about me. Two, they don't have an accurate view on what narcissism is. Most people with narcissism do not do stuff like that. I don't think I can make that clear enough. I have never heard another narcissist that did that in my life. And I feel like by confessing this, I'm almost damning some of them. And in fairness, from what it sounds like, a lot of people on my channel who are dealing with narcissists are dealing with someone on the fucking malignant side. So if I remind you guys of your partner, then bad, well, one, I think that's a bad sign for both me and for them. I've lived in denial about that for so long. I was desperately trying to prove to myself that that's not why I did it, but it was. It was, and I don't even feel bad. It says a lot about me. I have not seen people in long enough because I have been reflecting way too much these past couple days. I think it's good that I'm putting that out there, though. Maybe I can grapple with it more genuinely and access some feelings of remorse and guilt because I'm admitting it to everybody else and myself. I mean, hell, I don't know. Maybe you guys can pick up that I am feeling some kind of remorse and guilt that I just can't access myself. Again, I just hope what people take away from this is that everybody's capable of change. And again, I might slip up. I might do it again. I don't think I will, and I don't want to. But I mean, hell, a year and a half ago I did. It's hard to almost believe that's the kind of person I was and to some degree am. I'm still sometimes grapple with thoughts about doing things like that just to punish people for betraying me, for laying me down, for not doing what I want. And I hope I can get rid of those feelings one day. I feel like I'm in like an in-between point of healing. Because at least I'm not hurting people anymore. Because that's not the kind of person I want to be. I still want people to fear me. I wonder if that wasn't for that motivation, if I would have ever admitted this. I'm trying to grapple with why I'm doing this. Why am I doing it this time? I think my self-deception even now is ruling me. I'm trying to convince myself I'm doing it for one reason or the other. Maybe I'm doing this to prove to you guys that I am a malignant narcissist. Maybe that's not what, maybe that's why I'm admitting this stuff. It's 100% true. It's 100% true, but my denial of myself is getting in the way of me knowing 100% why I'm telling you these truths. It sucks to be lost in a disorder that you don't know why you do anything that you do. And you guys might judge me, and I don't blame you. Suicide attempts for the reasons of hurting people aren't genuinely looked upon very kindly. But I do want you to ask yourself, if fucking the world told you that tenderness wasn't a need of yours, the world told you that you were worthless and the only way to get your needs met was to hurt people, That's the only way to keep, that control was the only way to keep what you needed. If you were in my shoes, you'd do the exact same thing. Take your fucking meds.